So the next group is from Victoria. Completely different way of extending and deepening the conversation. In this case, it's with a structure that existed in the district called learning rounds. So to tell us about the learning rounds are Petra Eggert and Janine Roy, and would you welcome them? And they'll give us a little example of what it's looking like in Victoria.
Thanks, Faye. So yeah, just as Faye had mentioned, this is how we extended the opportunity for the changing results teachers that came out. And also, as Maureen mentioned, we did have at the beginning, we had invited 4 of our elementary schools to take part. We were really hopeful for a team of 2 from each school, and we ended up with 24 teachers, and so we did end up saying, yeah, we have to have 4 early reading advocates. So I'm one of a team of 4. So we did have our fearless facilitator, Maureen, and she did do our 7 sessions with us, worked closely with the teachers and in conversation, and actually quite rich conversation. There was some real great stuff that came out of those sessions. In between the 7 sessions, one in I think it was the fall, sometime in October, one in the new year, and then one in the spring, we offered up the opportunity for the changing results teachers to take part in what we call a learning round. And so how this is structured is we invite them to try to make it a tight timeline where we say, try to have your learning round start and finish within a week or 2 weeks. So what this looks like is we offer them up release time in their schools to come together and do some co-planning. So the early reading advocate would then come and attach themselves to a team, and during the co-planning time sessions, what we would be doing is really taking the time to really drill down that inquiry question again, get to the heart of what is it really that we're asking, what professional development do you really need that may address this particular question, and what is one action that you could take, one thing, not a grand lesson sequence that's going to take a week to complete, but what's one thing that you might want to try that may address your question for your child. So we would do that as a full team. So in my case, I would be attached to an elementary school team that's part of the Changing Results, and we would literally find a space in the school and sit down, and everyone would surface those inquiry questions, their case study, and talk about what their needs are in terms of professional development. We'd even take the time to actually collaboratively share with each other some of the strategies that we were wanting to try or willing to try. We would then team up, so partner up with somebody in your school, in that team, and we'd plan what is the action that we're going to take together. We then said within the week after the co-planning, what we'd like you to do is team teach twice. So I was thrilled this morning to listen to all the different ways of coming together and co-teaching. Basically, we walked them through what co-teaching is and what co-teaching isn't. We said that this is your opportunity to go in and take a piece of the lesson and work side by side. So you're both the teacher in the classroom context with the intimacy of the kids, and you're going to work through whatever you plan together and taking pieces. There isn't one person that's observing per se. And we did encourage the teachers to actually work through observing the student learning behaviors as opposed to, I really like your rug, and where did you get that poster? So they had to do that twice within the week, make sure that they took some carved out time to team teach twice. So if there were 2 classroom teachers, it would be in two separate classrooms. They'd co-plan something for each classroom, and they'd work through that together. The debrief was basically the team coming back together and us sitting down. We used Sharon's record of individual action and results, 4 quadrants, as a tool to facilitate our conversations in our debrief. What was the context? What did we try? What did you notice? What happened? What were your observations? And what's your plan? Where's your next step? So the teachers that were part of the Changing Results for Young Readers opportunity this year had 3 learning rounds, and I think that was probably the thing that really pushed people the most, and we just had some great results and feedback based on that. And I think, Janine, you're going to talk about what we noticed and where to next.
Yes. In addition to our changing results for young readers, we also invited other K-3 teachers in the district to join a teacher inquiry project focused on reading. That project ran from January to June of last year. It began after the changing results. And their inquiry project also invited them to develop a case study of one of their students and have an inquiry question and reflect on that student. And as they went through, they also had the chance to have one learning round. They had one learning round during their session. And we had the chance to have the majority of our elementary schools involved in that project as well. So we worked with a lot of K-3 teachers last year. And what did we see? First and foremost, we saw that collaboration time is key. And having the chance to have scaffolded job-embedded structure built in to facilitate the co-planning and co-teaching and debriefing was loved by our participants. They welcomed the chance to do this with colleagues, and after going through it in a structured fashion like this, then they really had the opportunity to continue to pursue co-planning and co-teaching together on their own. But it was great to have the chance to do it together and to debrief. So collaboration time was loved, as we all know from going through our own changing results project. We also saw that flexibility was really important. So as we were doing our teacher inquiry project that was outside of the changing results, we saw that being flexible was really important. So as people were going through the sessions and it came time for their learning round and their co-planning, co-teaching, if they wanted to pull in a colleague who wasn't really part of the project, but they really felt comfortable doing this activity with, that worked as well. And having the chance to go visit somebody else's class and then bring a colleague to come in and see it again, that kind of flexibility really paid off because it allowed the project to really grow on its own. And finally, continuity was key. People want to continue. Our participants told us in the Changing Results project and the Teacher Inquiry project, they want to keep going and they're keen to get going this year. And having the chance to collaborate about the teaching and learning that's going on in their classrooms is so powerful. So we can't wait to get going with our Learning Initiatives team again this year. Thank you.